Is there any correction or approval to those minutes? Seeing none, we have one agenda item, and that is a resolution amending fiscal year 09 action plan awarding the CDBG funds. This is stimulus money, and we originally had proposed to use that wonderful new funding for fire hydrants in Franklin to the Fort and for playground equipment at Kiwanis Park and LaFrey Park. HUD, my understanding, got back to us and said, no, playground equipment for children is not a good idea. And so we have to find a different method of meeting the needs of moderate to low income people, not on playground equipment. Mike?
Thank you, Mike Barton for OPG. And as Stacy said, you're being asked to amend the city's action plan to add $168,720 in community development block grant funding authorized by the Stimulus Act. And again, as she said, we had originally, and you had adopted Resolution 7424 authorizing submission of an application that would have done the Franklin to the Fort fire hydrants and the LaFrey and Kiwanis Park playground equipment. We have been informed by HUD that recreation projects will not be funded by CDBG. This is a controversy that's apparently much larger and broader than our application. The mayor, to his credit, took our case literally to the White House and received a call saying that such projects will not be funded. We have been in discussion with city staff and with HUD Denver to come up with a basic infrastructure project that will meet the 70% low and moderate income threshold, as well as the basic infrastructure objective of the Stimulus Act. What we are suggesting is that we amend 7424 to replace the two park projects with a project that would address health and safety issues and as well as structural issues on the north side pedestrian bridge, which connects the north side with Toole Avenue. There has been some discovery of some defects that need repair. There are also some basically hiding places on the bridge that city staff would like to eliminate. They would also like to eliminate the roosting pigeons and put some lighting and some sprinkling equipment on that so that they can flush that bridge and clean it on a regular basis. As I said, we've been in discussion with HUD. HUD has given us preliminary approval for this. We will hold a public meeting later this week to take comment, and that comment will be available for your consideration when this comes before full council, assuming that the committee recommends sending it forward. And I'd obviously be happy to answer any questions on it.
Bob?
Can you describe the nature of the structural issues?
Someone suggested that some of the that expansion joints are lacking in some of the components, and as a result, there is some leaking going on. It's evident in rust stains on the deck, and that's what they want to address.
And then the hiding spots, trying to block access to some of those. I'm a little concerned about the aesthetics of how that might be done. Will there be any participation from the neighborhood, or what process do you see going on as far as just lots of chain link fences and stuff like that? It seemed like it could be done differently. To be honest, given the nature of this, we haven't really adopted a process. We certainly have recognized the neighborhood complaints about it. There's also recognition that the maintenance of the bridge falls primarily on the goodwill of neighbors at the present time. I cannot imagine that we would be moving forward without consultation
with the neighbors, and although Donna Gawkler isn't here, I think I can speak for her in saying that this would certainly be done in concert with the neighbors, and also whatever plan is adopted will come back to you for approval in a contract.
Ed?
Well, I'm glad the fire hydrants are still there. Other than that, I would like to express my disappointment. I think parks are a reasonable part of a city's structure, and people need them. But
Staff certainly is in agreement, and we've made that argument.
But yeah,
it was very ironic that on the same day that HUD announced that park projects would not be funded, I think it was NBC, in doing a special on the Obama White House, featured the playground equipment that had been installed there.
I was going to mention something about that.
On the other hand, I guess it's more important to have a bridge not fall down than to put in playground equipment. I can see some merit in that.
Well, again, as I said, the administration has pointed out to the congressional delegation and the White House that it certainly considers parks to be part of the city's basic infrastructure.
Dick?
Well, I'd like to be on the record. This pleases me very much. My concern I had was that if we're getting this kind of money, this fix something that normally gets fixed with an SID, or the neighborhood has to find the money to do it. And I think it makes much more sense to do that. If you're going to round up money for something, let them round up money for toys and playthings. And I don't mean that sarcastically, but as compared to our infrastructure. And I guess I don't consider, to that extent, buying playground stuff as part of our infrastructure. It's nice, we need it, but we got roads and bridges and buildings and everything else in this town that need fixing, and I think this is a good way to spend the money, is fix some of that stuff.
And I appreciate that also, though, so that you're aware, at least with the LaFrey Park, which is a new park, the only mechanism being discussed at this time for installation of equipment is an SID, and that would fall on a neighborhood where you have in excess of 70% of the households meeting or under HUD's low and moderate income guidelines. So it is a financial burden, and we did point that out.
Is there a motion? Dick, thank you for the motion to amend the resolution and to move forward. I would just note that I don't think it always has to be a question of either or when it comes to things like bridges or roads or fire hydrants and parks. I think parks are just as critical as those things, and I personally, when I am able to visit somewhere else, I don't go for the nice bridges, I go for things like parks. Is there any public comment? Mike? Dee? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Any opposed? That'll go on the consent agenda. Consent agenda will be adjourned.